they only get 2 laps of qualifying to the drivers. And of course, it's a 10-minute session. So we will just let the clock run down, but we've only
Hmm.
got about another minute or so. So I think the grid is pretty much settled. Of course, we are in the Netherlands. I've got some interesting Netherlands facts. We haven't done this for a while. And I know that every single one of you watching this stream will be dying to know some great facts about the Netherlands. And of course, Dutch people are the tallest in the world. That's quite obvious. And it's by quite some margin as well. It's absolutely insane. Like, no one really knows why it is. Also, it's the this interested me. The Netherlands is the most densely populated nation in Europe. I did not expect that. Of course, it's quite a small nation, and you think of Amsterdam as being quite a populous nation, but sorry, populous city. But they must have a couple of other big cities, of course, Rotterdam as well, and a couple of others. So the most densely populated nation in Europe. That really did surprise me. 487 inhabitants per square kilometer. Maybe later on we will go to more of those facts if maybe the racing gets a little bit dull in parts as just watching the clock go down, and I think we can go through the grid right now. Martin Malu's not on pole position by only half a tenth of a second over his teammate Boris Spolstra. Mateo Kalestein starts on the second row of the grid with Byron Daly in alongside him. Ashley Beard and Richard Gafenko, I believe those two are teammates. They lock out the third row, and then it's Thomas Knoll and Anthony Mott, Alessandro Roccatello and Jamie Wilson rounding out the top 10. And then it's David Cudmore, Adam McNally, and Massimo Berta rounding out the grid there. 13 drivers, and should be a very entertaining one this.
Yeah, let me use this opportunity while we wait for the drivers to grid to welcome the viewers on YouTube because I forgot to start the stream. So they we came in a little bit late there, but hopefully we didn't miss any of the action because now we are live. So apologies for that. Uh, the Netherlands, of course, a fantastic. Look at that beautiful new livery from Learn to Race. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, basically one of the premier nations in the world of darts. And I think we can start.
Here we go. Martin Van Leesnod. It's going to be 8 out of 9 here. Away we go here at Zandvoort, so it's good start for Spolstra. He's right on his tail. There's no contact between the two leaders. Going around the outside there is Spolstra, but he cannot find a way past his teammates. Van Leesnod, Spolstra, Kalistani and Daly are still trying to pressurize him. Spolstra realizes this is his best chance of the race win, but he hasn't been able to make the move. And well, is this going to be a procession? Hopefully not, because he's still right on the tail. Kalistani held off Daly, really the only changer right there. Max Bertzer up 3 positions. He had an awesome start from last on the grid. He's up into the top 10.
Yes, everybody behaving nicely, which has been a constant of this championship over the course of the 5 rounds that we have so far. The two learn to race boys were very close, but I think cooler heads prevailed. And now we'll see. Of course, we have the added bonus of the DRS, as we have some fantastic racing gear between Wilson and I think that is McNally also. Sorry, that is Berta with McNally side by side at the chicane. This is one of those tricky spots. Locking the brakes is the Italian driver, then goes wide, and McNally gets the position back. Back to the front stretch because the two Netherlands guys are about to finish the first lap.
Here we go. Spolstra down the inside into Tarzan. But no, he's a little bit early on the brakes. No, he's going to try to stay in there. Just not the confidence of his teammates. So often you see the outside line there being the better line. And, well, he dropped off a little bit in the middle part of the circuit there, Spolstra. Oh, and Thomas Knoll is off from
And
7th position. And he's taken Anthony Mott with him. So these two were 7th and 8th. And then fallen to the rear of the field. And I think, certainly, Knoll is out of the race.
let's get a replay of that. Was it in the first corner? Oh, very unfortunate lag contact there. Also, I think Roccatello got involved as well. Very, very unfortunate there. I think there was too much of a tap, if a tap at all, there in the first corner.
I think Rocketail's got quite a big issue. He's fallen. Or is he okay? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, there you go.
And
And
front wing damage. So let's see if he's going to pit. Back to the front, Van Loosener, Sportstra, and already making quite a nice progress, but also behind them the battle for third in the championship and third on the racetrack, with the positions inverted respectively to the standings, because now Calestani is in front of Byron Daly.
yeah, Calistani with a few good podiums recently. Got one at Nürburgring in race 1, and he also got a podium at Suzuka last time out a week ago in race 1. So he's been able to, secure those decent finishes. But Daly, of course, has been super consistent, constantly in the top 6 out there, despite maybe not having the pace for the podium. Right now, it's looking like he might well do, putting some pressure on Matej Kalistani. Still Spolstra on the tail. This is kind of half a chance through this part of the circuit to make some moves. Maybe not in single seaters, maybe more in kind of the GT cars, because it's so wide. This is the one part of the circuit where you do actually have some width to the track. And that can allow you to go for a bit of a dive bomb, but you can see how it's so difficult to stay close. And it's Spolstra just struggling to stay with his teammate across the slipstream. Not going to be too prominent around here. And so it's really got to be about talent if he's going to be able to keep up and then pass the race leader.
Let's go for a lap on board with Boris Polstra, and we will see maybe from a better perspective all the different elevation changes, and I think also the uh, difficulty of this track, because it's so narrow. You see this beautiful Tarzan bocht, absolutely amazing. I'm a oval racer, so I love corners with banking, but look how narrow now the track gets here. And then this very hard braking hairpin with no runoff area on the right, only here. But if you put your wheels on the gravel there, you are going to the wall on the left side, because it's so slippery there. And then what can you say about this section here? I mean, look at this. And it looks like Van Loosenord is really liking this part of the track, pulling away from his teammate as we go then into the wider area. But sadly, that this wider area, Sam, is one of it doesn't have very hard braking zones, so it tends to maintain the status quo. And then one final chicane, and then we go back to the Airy Lion Dive Bocht in the final corner of the track.
Yeah, such a unique blend of corners. You really don't see anything like this anymore. Of course, the curbs as well, absolutely lethal, a lot of them, certainly at the first part of the lap. You can take a few of these. But of course, the gravel tracks as well, super banked, and actually are basically radical down here, or at least, driven it around a little bit. And of course, just hitting the gravel tracks can be enough to cause damage. And now it's Max Bertha with damage. He'd been able to go up a couple of positions after falling back to the rear of the field. He's he's still in 9th place, but that's not going to be for long. This is how it happened with Anthony Mott, I believe it was. And Mott, oh, well, I'm not sure how to portion blame there, because Bertza did come across at the last moment. But then Mott, what really was he doing on the outside there? What was he expecting?
See Berta missing a big chunk of the front end of his car, electing not to pit, and I think David Cadmore will pass him easily, because you see Berta is struggling. Of course, there will be massive understeer with his car. Nortec Drama Racing, very nice colors there. As we move there in the front, Beard and Gafenku, the Excite iRacing teammates, battling with his team. Oh no!
They've hit each other. The two teammates have come to blows. And, well, that was just clumsy once again. It's a troublesome corner, as Marco said earlier on. And, well, that is civil war there. Of course, it wasn't deliberate by any means. It was just utter clumsiness there from Richard Gafenku. And it means Jamie Wilson moves up into 5th place.
Oh, it was a pretty big hit on the rear end of Ashley Beer's car. Gafenku, I think, will have front wing damage for sure. But that was not what I expected between the two teammates, I was about to say, and I'm still quite confident, this is a team that is absolutely on the rise. They came to together earlier this year. Oh, sorry, well, it's the 30th of January, late last year, because they debuted, of course, in this championship in 2018, a few weeks ago, and they are racing in many different categories. So they are certainly a team on the rise. Sam, of course, I think you know even more because you raced, I think, against these guys in the Radicals.
I don't think they run in no radicals. I'm not sure. I always forget to install delivery packs, so if they have been out there, I don't think I've noticed it. But I don't think either them. I think actually Richard does race in the radicals. I think, but I'm not sure if it's actually under
You know,
Excite
I
Racing.
broadcasted one round, so I should know as well, but I don't. But now you put some doubt in my mind. And here we are, something that we have seen many times over this season. The gap between the two drivers of Learn to Race, Van Loosener and Spoelstra, getting stuck to around 1 second, 1.5 seconds, and never growing too bigger than that, and never shrinking smaller than that. They are settling into a nice pace, and I will be very curious to see if this happens also in the reverse grid, if these two guys, of course, finish where they are, because you never know. Because then we'll see if Spolstra, like happened at Road America, if Spolstra is not able to make the move on, no, able to keep Van Loosener behind. Of course, we will never know about that race because if you remember, Spolstra was leading and then got taken out by a lapped car. Roccatello is in the pits for a long pit stop. Thomas Knoll as well. Thomas Knoll has retired, so he will start from the back of the pack in race 2. And these two guys are basically checking out. Here is third place Calestani and here is fourth place Daly. And then not many close battles on the track. Of course, the contact between Gafenko and Beard stopped their battle for the time being, even though they are getting closer and closer to each other once again. Hopefully this time with a better communication, so we don't see any other kind of drama. And of course, we have to see some if and uh, how big is the damage on Beard and Gafenko, because that was a pretty significant hit.
Well, Beard is lapping about 2 seconds slower than he was earlier on. Well, 2.5 seconds slower than he was earlier on. So he's got a significant damage. He was the driver who was who got damage on the rear of the car, I think.
Yes.
Gafenko just on the front wing, and Gafenko's lap times haven't dropped off too much. Fastest lap time 19.8, that last time 20.6, and really not much of a drop off. And if they really have any common sense, they will swap the two cars around, because there's absolutely no point in these two racing once again. I'm sure it won't happen again. It's very much a rarity and just a lapse of concentration from Richard. But it certainly doesn't make sense for them to swap around. Of course, behind them, the next guy, Anthony Mott, another Excite Racing driver, and another driver who's had issues in this race. And while he is closing up slowly to the back of these two, he's still 5.5 seconds back. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of time until this one is complete.
And I think Gafenko is heading for the pits. These are a very tricky pit lane, as we at Apex Racing know very well, if you remember. As
Still
he
cry
goes,
about that.
yeah. So he goes in, and we'll see if Beard follows him as well. Maybe in the next lap. I think it is some big rear wing damage, or maybe not, because he got hit fairly
Well,
low.
Beard. Sorry, Gafenko was black flagged.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's got a 1 second stop and hold. He'll be back out on circuit hopefully very soon. Which I think is the right decision, isn't it? Of course, I'm not sure what the rules in other leagues are, whether you have to report it. Most series it is you have to report it, because they wouldn't have reported one another. But there you go, live stewarding. David Stewart, of course, out there. I think he's the only live steward today. So thanks to David. And of course, it's really good for this league for there to be live stewards. Gafenko dropped behind Mott, and he dropped behind Cudmore. And well, he was nearly dropped behind his own teammate Adam McNally as well. And it'll be interesting to see now if McNally can keep up with his teammate.
So 1 second between Van Loosener and Spoelstra, 1 second between Calestani and Daly. These are the two battles we're keeping a close eye on, as we only have less than 8 minutes left in this first race of the day. Of course, reverse grid is coming, and you can see the dynamic weather, of course. I will keep saying this for the entirety of this first season, because it's
Oh,
so
I think
nice.
it'll be longer than that.
Of course, as Massimo Berta has a little bit of an off-track moment here. Of course, 1 week away from the Daytona 24 hours, Massimo Berta is still going around without the front end of his car, which
I don't know. He's 15 seconds off the pace.
the stewards are not happy with that most of the times. If you remember, at the Nürburgring ground, they parked Joseph Ringros, who is not with us today because I think he's at the how is it called, that big motorsports fair in the UK?
Autosport.
Yeah, he's at Autosport today, together with a lot of people, some of the series regulars as well. So he was parked, if you remember, at the Nürburgring. So I think maybe David Street, of course, a very, very experienced iRacer, of course, the spotter for Kevin Ellis Jr., I think? Or is it Scott
Ooh, I'm
Newton?
not sure.
He is.
Oh, well, Scott is the sponsor for Pete Bayman.
Yeah, so he's a
I
spotter
know
for
that.
David Street. So he knows his stuff, let's put it this way. Byron Daly losing a little bit of contact with Calestani now, 1.5 seconds the gap between the two of them. I think that Byron could be very, very, satisfied with this fourth place. Of course, the season is still long. We have, well, no, it's going to be halfway next time around in the next round of the season. The two guys at the front. If only Spolstra could close the gap just a little bit, we might see a great duel. The thing we haven't seen this season so far is an on-track battle between these two guys, which I would absolutely love to see.
Well,
Because
Suzuka, we kind of got it, but it was very short-lived, wasn't it? It
yeah,
was Van Liesman got into the slipstream and then got the DRS, and once that kind of happened, then it was kind of impossible for Spolstra to hold him back. So Van Liesman got ahead, and from then on, it was pretty much what we've seen in this race. I think the turbulent air is really showing right now because Daly and Spolstra can occasionally get within 1 second and then almost immediately drop back out of it. So either these guys are unbelievably, evenly matched, or I think there is a little bit of the aero wake, which is affecting these two. It's not that significant in this car. It's not as significant as the MP4-30, but it's still going to be quite costly around a circuit like this with so many long corners.
yes. Um, we, of course, after this round, will be heading to Donington Park and then Road Atlanta. So two fantastic tracks. Then, of course, it's Interlagos, Imola, Circuit of the Americas, Monza. We will finish the season at Spa on March the 3rd. So still a decent way to go. Max Bert, I think, was stopped by the stewards because he is now in the pits. Also,
Well,
he's
it
rebelling.
makes sense for him to go into the pit. Maybe he was just trying to complete 75% race distance. I don't think he's going to make 75 race distance though, so he's got to go back out on circuit if he's going to be eligible for the reverse grid. Of course, the smallest reverse we can get is 10. So if he can get himself classified, then most likely he'll be on pole position. Well, Max Berter. So, well, of course, if he's listening along, get back out there and go nab yourself a nice pole position.
Now, of course, today me and Sam have the great responsibility of setting up the second session. So I think we will have a chat with David Street before we, make anything official. And now here coming the worst enemy so far of Learn to Race team is the lapped cars. So, but this lapped car is very nice. Excite Energy driver McNally moves out of the way. Look at the gap down to 7/10 of a second into the first corner, and now the dirty air, like you said previously, Sam, will of course, push Spolstra away.
Well, he's managed to get himself now within 6/10 of a second. This is as close as it's been since the first couple of laps. I do remember though that move, that opportunity that Spolstra had going into turn 1 on lap 2. How he was pretty much alongside, he just didn't go for it. You know, these guys, of course, want to accumulate the points. They want to do well in the championship, but you just think, you know, give it a go. You know, even if you crash into one another, it doesn't. It's not the end of the world. You'll heal your wounds, and maybe that was the opportunity that Spolstra has been waiting for so far this season. Because of course, I think if he got ahead, I think he would have probably been able to hold on to the race lead. But of course, race 2, he should be. Well, he will be starting ahead if he finishes behind in this one, and then he should be able to keep ahead at the starts and maybe be able to hold on to the end of the race. Of course, a 40-minute second race, and so it'll be difficult for him to do that. Closing in between Calistani and Daly, third and fourth positions. Only 0.3 of a second between the two of them. This is the closest that these two have got. Daly, so far this season, has been pretty responsible. That's up to the final corner. Here we go. Maybe deploying the DRS. He's going to go to the outside. Calistani defending all the way to the inside, almost making contact with the pit wall. Now the outside line is probably the best line. Daly round the outside. Is he going to be able to pull it off? No. But it was a fantastic effort from the American, from the Scuderia Carolina driver. But he is sure giving himself a good chance. He's still right on the tail. This is not a conventional overtaking spot, but he may be able to find his way through as we see side by side once again. Gafenku gets him past Kudmore after his penalty earlier on. Still, Kalasai having to defend from Daly. This is the next section corners where I did say earlier on where he can maybe pull off a move, but just missing the apex there is Byron Daly, and just drops a 10th. And now a move down into turn 1 is going to be that much more difficult.
As the leader starting the final lap of the race. So this will be the white flag for Martin van Loosenhoorn. It's not easy to race 20 minutes with your teammate and your closest rival being so close to you, but he has not made a single mistake so far and is running towards another race victory. Would be the 8th in 9 rounds. Karestani is able to defend with ease into this first corner, so unless he makes a mistake, it's the third place will be his. And also we have Anthony Mott here battling with his teammate Ashley Beard for P6. These are the 3 battles that we are having heading down to the final few corners.
Yeah, drivers have kind of just got closer and closer to one another in the past 10 minutes or so. But I don't think it's going to be close enough for Williams, for Boris Spolstra. Got a little bit of lap traffic just ahead, deals with that nicely. That was David Kudmore and also Richard Gafenko. I think they've also got past as well. Here we are, number 4, Martin van Liesnold. He's going to make it 8 wins here at Zandvoort. Race 1 will go his way. It's a load to race 1 too, but it's Martin van Liesnold on the top step of the podium, winning his home race. While Spolstra in second place. Calistani still under a bit of pressure from Daly. Half a second between the two of them, but I don't think Daly's going to have enough, just running a little bit wide in the penultimate corner. And once again, Calistani converting that good grid position to a race 1 podium. Consistently best of the rest in those race 1s. Here comes Beard and Mott. We've already seen one incident between the Excite racers so far. Of course, Jamie Wilson will be in 5th position after starting from 10th. Great drive from him, picking up the pieces from others. And just running out of corners here is Anthony Mott. Got a couple more to go. Beard not putting a foot wrong still. And despite Mott really closing in these closing stages, it's going to be Ashley Beard recovering from an incident earlier on. He's going to finish in 6th place, just ahead of his teammates.
Here we go with Martin van Loosenhoorn then, the race winner for this first round. And since the session is official, Sam, I think we can go through the race 1 results.
Yes, and like you said, Martin Van not the race 1 winner, only 7/10 of a second clear of Boris Bolscher in the end. Matej Kastlein 20 seconds off the two race leaders. Did well to hold off Byron Daly. Jamie Wilson, completely under the radar, but a comfortable fifth after just picking up the mistakes from the drivers ahead. Ashley Beard held off his teammate Anthony Motz in the closing stages, and then a lap down was David Cudmore, Richard Gafenke, and Adam McNally. Massimo Berta was 6 laps down. Alessandro Roccatello was 12 laps down, and Thomas Knoll was 15 laps down. What is the reverse criteria, Marco? How many positions do you have to be within to be eligible?
I don't know, and I think we will spin the wheel, and then we will have a chat with David Street in the stewards room. So you will have to wait just a bit to know who is going to start in pole position. I think that you have to finish the race in order to be eligible. So I think that McNally, since I don't think Berta finished the race, I think McNally is the first guy available, and of course with a 10 minimum reverse grid, I think he could be on pole position. But enough talking. The reverse wheel should be on your screen, and let's roll it. So of course we get the second biggest possible reverse to not help us at all. We will, yeah.
According to David, spin and reverse. Everybody, including DNF.
Okay, so Thomas Knoll is in the pole position then. We are very grateful for the stewards, and they are always opening a nice line of communication with us. And so we can say, Sam, with quite the certainty that Thomas Knoll is the pole sitter for race 2.
Yes, and should be a good race too. Going to be difficult for the first runners to make their way through the field. And you certainly don't want to miss it. Martin Van Liesman so far, 8 out of 9. Will it be 9 out of 10? Do join us back in about 25 minutes time for race 2 of the afternoon.
My name is Steven Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing. Before you can get on track, you'll need to calibrate your wheel and pedal set. You'll need to do this in iRacing even if you have already done this using your own controller software. Prior to entering the sim, make sure you've downloaded and installed the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. Once that's done, follow these easy steps to calibrate your controller. We recommend calibrating in a test session, so pick a car and then click test. Don't go into a practice or official session. The last thing you want to do is have you go on track and crash into another car. Once you're in your test session, click on the options button. You will then see input calibration. This is where your calibration takes place. Start by clicking on the steering button. You will then be prompted to turn your wheel fully one direction and then another. Make sure you place your wheel back into its centering position before hitting done. Now, you'll be asked to turn your wheel 90 degrees to the left. Make sure it's at 90 and hold it there while hitting done. For pedals, click on the pedals button. Here you'll be asked to press the throttle all the way down and then release it. You'll do the same for the brake and clutch pedal if you have one. For the gearbox, you'll first be asked to set buttons for sequential shifting. Once complete, a prompt will ask if you have a H pattern shifter. If not, hit no. If yes, click it and you'll begin to map the gears individually. Once you've completed these steps, you are calibrated and ready to go racing.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkett goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howley down to the inside.
Trying this contact though. Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
Last year I was sitting at a desk as a sales manager, and now I'm official McLaren F1 simulator test driver.
So there's 1.4 behind.
This opportunity is huge.
That's it, 46 watts. That's faster than the factory McLaren driver. And he's done 6 laps.
Let's go race.
chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
My name is Steven Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing. Before you can get on track, you'll need to calibrate your wheel and pedal set. You'll need to do this in iRacing even if you have already done this using your own controller software. Prior to entering the sim, make sure you've downloaded and installed the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. Once that's done, follow these easy steps to calibrate your controller. We recommend calibrating in a test session, so pick a car and then click test. Don't go into a practice or official session. The last thing you want to do is have you go on track and crash into another car. Once you're in your test session, click on the options button. You will then see Input Calibration. This is where your calibration takes place. Start by clicking on the steering button. You will then be prompted to turn your wheel fully one direction and then another. Make sure you place your wheel back into its centering position before hitting done. Now, you will be asked to turn your wheel 90 degrees to the left. Make sure it's at 90 and hold it there while hitting done. For pedals, click on the pedals button. Here you'll be asked to press the throttle all the way down and then release it. You'll do the same for the brake and clutch pedal if you have one. For the gearbox, you'll first be asked to set buttons for sequential shifting. Once complete, a prompt will ask if you have a H pattern shifter. If not, hit no. If yes, click it and you'll begin to map the gears individually. Once you've completed these steps, you are calibrated and ready to go racing.
Sits to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
As wide left of the racetrack, Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing League Renault 3.5 Championship live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again I am joined alongside Marco Barbanet here at Zandvoort. We saw a really good race one, Marco, not too much overtaking at the front, although it was very tense throughout. We've got a full reverse. We're going to have the fast guys, well, the race winner, Martin Van Liesel, starts from 13th on the grid for this one. What can we expect? Can we see those drivers get through the field, and how quick is it going to take them? Are there going to be any dangers with those overtaking?
Well, I think it's going to be dangerous. We said that in the top of the broadcast earlier. First of all, I apologize to everyone for the little bit of extra weight that we had to have since I was in charge of starting the second session. We made it through, finally. You know, we will see what happens. Of course, it's a longer race, so I think these guys, I think that the faster guys, if they get a better exit out of the final corner, can make the move into the first corner. But the first laps will be absolutely chaotic. So, first of all, the big moment, let's see if the reverse grid is correct, and then we will start.
Looks like it is. It's Thomas now on the pole position. Alongside him is Alessandro Locatello on the second row. Mesame Berta is alongside Adam McNally. Behind that is his teammate Richard Benke. There's David Cudmore, Anthony Mott, Ashley Beard, Jamie Wilson, Byron Daly, and Tekka standing for us. Of course, race one winner, 8-time winner this season, Martin Van Liesel, starting from 13th on the grid. Here we go. Race 2 of the evening. Thomas Knoll from the pole position. What can Locatello do alongside him? Away we go at Zandvoort, and it's a really good start there from Bertza. Once again, he can't really do anything with it. We're going to have 3 wide going into turn 1 here at Zandvoort, but Bertza backs out of it. Still in the lead is Thomas Knoll. Managed to hold on by Spolstra, just losing out a couple of positions, although it's not a bad start for him. Van Liesel getting a little bit detached from the rest of the field right at the back, but Thomas Knoll, it's a good start for him. Under a bit of pressure is Locatello. Bertza.
Ooh, contact.
Again, really good start, and we got contact at the back. Cudmore involved Wilson, Mott as well. It's another disappointing race for Mott, and also Daly as well, I think, got caught up a little bit in it because he has got a bit detached. And Knoll pulling away out in the lead.
You know, Sam, we saw, as we see some battling here between Gafenko, McNally, Calestani and Spolstra, completely different approaches from the two Learn to Race drivers. Boris Spolstra absolutely dived bomb on the inside of the first corner, and it was very, very good because that was very close to being a big wreck. Meanwhile, Martin Van Loosenhoorn took it very easy and was able right now to stay very close to his teammate. As we see
Bertha got to correct
Calestani.
it.
Oh! McNally, big save there. And you see the patience that Van Loosener showed paid off because he's right behind his teammate there, sitting in P5. So as McNally is in the pits with big damage, which I think just happened because he was looking good when we moved the camera away. So now Sportstra is very close to Calestani. Gafencu is in third, just in front of him, with Roccatello and Noll trying to pull away. 40-minute race, so long way to go. As you see, the shadows are getting longer and longer. Oh, the two learn-to-drive teammates very close with Calestani as well. A crazy moment there. Luckily, they all survive.
Well, it's only a matter of time until the two learn-to-race drivers get past Calestani. Because I will enjoy this for a while with Will, the Italian. And they're all still very close to one another. Noel 1 second out in the lead. Roccatello doing really well to hang on to second position still. As we see Calestani going defensive. This is where Spoelstra could lose this race. He needs to stay ahead of Van Loosenord. If we learn anything from race 1, we know that between those two, it's going to be difficult for either of them to pull a move on one another. And so track position is so important as we start lap 3 of this race. Into turn 1, sure, it's going to be a great chance for Spoelstra. He goes alongside Calestani again, going right to the inside of the circuit. It worked for him in race 1. Will it work for him in race 2? Round the outside goes Boris Spoelstra, just about leaving enough room. And that is a great move from the Dutch driver. He moves up into 4th place as we see side by side just ahead. And now could be another overtake for Spoelstra. Once again round the outside, and he's easing his way through the field. That was Roccatello dropping from 2nd to 4th.
What a fantastic move there from Sportstra. His teammate now has got 2 cars between himself and Boris, so he needs to make these moves quickly. Not going to be easy to go past Calestani. Great overtake there for Sportstra to get by the Italian driver, who's also trying to get his move on Roccatello in front, so he's going on the outside. Of course, sometimes when you go for a move, you become vulnerable to an attack from the driver behind you. They move on the outside of Roccatello. They are through, but now Van Loosener is very close to Calestani.
Oh, is it into the back
maybe
of him?
too
I
close.
think there may have been a bit of contact. And into the wall.
Is that Spoelstra? Yes.
Spoelstra. And also another driver as well, an Excite Racing driver. I think that was...
McNally, I think.
No, I think, unless he was a lapper. Yeah. So, this was 2 separate incidents, I believe. So here it was, Spoelstra going down the inside. Oh, he just got tapped, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
By Richard Gafencu.
Yeah.
And then, of course, McNally was
McNally spun on his own, yeah. Back in the front. So will that be a penalty for Martin Van Loosenord? Oh!
It would be relatively harsh as they both came away clean, but you're absolutely right. It would be up for debate. The smallest penalty they can give is a 1 second stop and hold. Whether that warranted it or not, that's David Stritt's decision, of course. As
seems
we see
like
more side by side Roccatello losing out, sorry.
Yeah, seems like Sportstra's car is good, but of course the big problem with that is that now he's behind his teammate, which he didn't want to get behind his teammate for obvious reasons. He wants to be in front. So, and he had a great chance, and he has to hope that Van Loosenord is held by Calestani for as long as possible, and that his car is good, because otherwise I think Van Loosenord can go in front and maybe try to get the race win once again as they move on the front stretch, left and right. Once again on the outside, the Learn to Race drivers like that corner. I think Van Loosenord has the move. Or maybe not.
No, he doesn't. Calestani back, and he just about holds on to it. And wide is... Oh, so nearly into the wall there, Van Loosenord. There's 0 runoff at that corner. And, well, it nearly worked. Well, it did work out for Spoelstra earlier on the outside move. That time he just wasn't quite enough ahead to hold off Calestani. He's got nothing to lose up there. You can see how he's absolutely desperate to hold on to this position. Having to go defensive again. Spolstra is going to be with these guys any moment now, and this is giving him back a chance to maybe win this race. The top two also closing in with one another. Gafenki closing in on Noel, and of course this chasing pack is also closing in. We're going to have a 5-car trade for the race victory here, as Noel is under massive pressure from Gafenki, having to go defensive. This isn't going bad for either of them, really, as Gafenki goes wide. Has he held on to second place? Yes, he has. And here comes Van Loozenod again. This is going to be an action-packed turn one, because they've got the DRS potentially to use, but will they go for it? As a poor exit from Gafenki. It's Gafenki, Kalistani, Van Loozenod, Spolstra, as they all fight amongst each other down the pit straight. Kalistani on the outside. We might see 3 wide here. Kalistani is going to try to go all the way around the outside. The move they managed to fend off on the last lap. There's nearly contact. Is there contact? Again, nearly 3 wide going into turn 2. Kalistani round the outside. Now has to defend from Van Loozenod. Spolstra wants to get involved. Van Loozenod is in the wall. Somehow not, but he's going to lose the position to his teammate. Forrest Spolstra versus Martin Van Loozenod. Side by side here at Zandvoort. Van Loozenod sticking his nose in it. And down the inside goes the Learn to Race driver. He takes back that position. It's not over yet, though. And Kalistani is still holding up these two. Van Loozenod pulls ahead, though. And, well, that could be a race-decisive move. But what action we are seeing here right now, Marco.
Kalistani on Gafenku in front of them. This is some fantastic racing. Very nice indeed. Gafenku holding inside. Of course, Gafenku is waiting on the steward's decision on that contact in this corner a few laps ago that sent Spolstra around. But man, I mean, this is what I like about this car. The racing it can produce is absolutely amazing. And we know that this track is not particularly well suited for this car. So imagine what it can do. And we've seen in the beginning of the season in the other tracks. Absolutely amazing. Once again, 3 wide on the front stretch.
Oh, he thought he maybe could go down the inside there, Van Loozenod. He's going to try to get one. Kalistani on the outside. There's contact. There was always going to be contact. Spolstra trying to go through. There's almost contact again. And I think Spolstra's just about got through past Kalistani. He will feel really hard done by. He defended valiantly.
Oh no, Gafenku!
As Gafenku's off. Van Loozenod back up into second position. It's all changed. All of a sudden down to a couple of mistakes. Gafenku down to 5th.
Some argy-bargy there, to say the least, between these top drivers. Not very big contacts. Once again, we will wait for the steward's decision. As daily, we have a big change because not big change. I did in all the chaos as all Van Loozenod are going for the lead.
Well, will Noel defend this one? No, he's just going to let him go. Possibly the wise thing. Thomas Noel has half a chance of a podium in this one. He does not want to fight amongst these Learn to Race drivers, as, well, Spolstra will surely be next up down the pit straight. Well, after all of that, Van Loozenod, I thought he crashed about 3 times just in that one corner, as Spolstra now is going to move up into second place. Maybe struggling down the straights. That's a little bit ominous. He pulls alongside, but then seems to lose a little bit of acceleration. But it is a Learn to Race 1-2. Took them 10 minutes in the end to get their way through the field. The longest it's taken them all season. And now Kalistani back up into 4th place. And it's just a case of can he pull off this move.
A big update on the championship, because in all the chaos we missed that Byron Daly is out of the race. So a big chunk of points that he will lose, because Kalistani is looking good for a podium right now, as Gafenku goes a bit wide. So of course you have to complete a certain amount of laps if you want to score points. He will not complete that amount of laps because he is out of the race. As you can see, he's already disconnected from the session. So Van Loozenod, Spolstra. Now, of course, Sam, once again, there's been many contacts, so we await the steward's decision, especially on Van Loozenod, since he had like 2 or 3 contacts with other drivers, as Gafenku is pushing super hard. Kalistani will try and make the move on Thomas Noel.
Yep, Kalistani up into the podium places once again. It's going to be a nice points haul for him today. Probably not going to be second in the championship unless something happens to Spolstra, but third, like I said before, Marco, looking very possible for him. Now, of course, he's had a couple of contests as well. Pretty fortunate to still be in this race. Although it was a little bit unfortunate to lose the position to Van Liesnoord in the first place. As Gafenku's been absolutely rapid. He was keeping up with Sterny quite easily on that last lap. And he's looking good for a 4th place, which I think would be his best result of the season. Beard isn't too far behind, a further 1.5 seconds behind in 5th place. As there goes Gafenku up into 4th.
Oof.
And he nearly loses the car, but that should be signed and delivered. Sorry.
We'll try to go back in a bit to that crash at the very beginning of the race, because I think that's where Daly had the big damage that forced him to retire. And also because we did.
Bert's a very close one, I'd say.
Yeah, you are right. Here we go. Some damage, I think, to the left of the Excite iRacing driver's car. I think a little bit of a scratch maybe on the left side of that car, but I might be wrong as Berta goes a bit wide. Thomas Knoll now under pressure from Ashley Beard. I think after, if Beard makes the move, we can go then to the replay of the crash at the very beginning of the race.
Yeah, Beard wants to go catch up his teammate Richard Gafenku. Of course, they came to blows earlier on today. Plenty of controversy in these. Well, of course, we're pretty much only halfway through this evening, really. Sorry, this meeting.
And you
just backing off for now.
You were right saying earlier today, because race 1 was starting at 8:30 a.m. Simulator time, and this race 2 is starting at 7:30 p.m. as you can see by the sun going down and the shadows. So these drivers had to wait a bit. Let's go back to that crash at the very beginning of the race then. This is David Cadmore on your camera right now.
Oh, you can see the contact there. That was Spolstra going down the inside, I think.
It is Byron Daly, you can see him. There was a big amount of cars here. And let's see. Okay, there was Wilson was around. Daly seemed to be okay, so I don't know what happened to him, because his car didn't have too much damage, I think. No, seems to be very good. So maybe he had another crash, but the incident viewer is not suggesting anything strange there. So too bad for him. And what a surprise! Van Loosen of the Spolstra, more or less 1 second apart. Even though this last lap was a 19.5 for Van Loosenaard, 18.62 for Spolstra. Coincidentally, their best lap time is identical, 1:18.62, both for Van Loosenaard and for Spolstra.
Yeah, quite incredible, those two, how evenly matched they've been so far this season. But of course, the points don't really reflect that, but of course, in the races, anyone who's seen will say that they have been very evenly matched. Beard still hasn't got past Noel. What happened to Gafenku?
What happened to Gafenku? You are absolutely right, because he dropped down to 6th place. I think we have a replay. Or maybe this was...
Yeah,
no, I think this was from earlier, you are right.
Well, that's how he lost... Oh yeah, that's how he lost 2nd place.
The 2nd place, exactly. Oh, Jesus! Very lucky, both himself and the drivers that were behind him. That was
get an onboard of that, because it almost looks a bit suspicious with the hardware. So he suddenly had like a lock of right. Let's see. I don't think he got on the grass. Nah, it was on the curb, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely crazy how he can lose the grip just like that.
That was Thomas Knoll right behind him. Wow. No. That was a scary moment. Not as close as the one we had with the Porsches BSR at Interlagos when you were away in Washington. That was a crazy moment. I suggest you guys go back and watch it. I think it happened in race 2. I think it happened to Adam McNally, that one. But I might be wrong. There was a car spinning on the outside of the Senna S. On the right side of the track, and there was a lot of smoke, and one of the drivers went as well himself into the runoff area to avoid a possible crash, and all of a sudden you see this other Porsche facing the wrong way, and he goes by him in like 1 millimeter apart, I think. I showed the replay from the onboard, and it was quite the moment. I imagine Ryan Walker remembers it very well. He was with me in the commentary booth. Okay. No, this is not
well,
good.
Well, he was incredibly lucky not to crash the first time. Has he been unlucky this time, or... Oh, on earth has happened here? He must have spun it. Oh, wow, yeah, it's a similar incident. Almost as though he's just got no rear grip, really. No rear kind of confidence. And, yeah, once again, Richard Gafenki out of the race.
Okay, the slowdown is slow-mo version. It doesn't clip the curb, so see, he's got like a pendulum effect, and then the car flies over the gravel there, and that's all she wrote, I think. You are right. He was very lucky the first time. Luck wasn't on his side the second time.
Of course, means that Alessandro Roccatello is up into 6th place.
You know, most of the times I'm in touch with Alessandro, not directly, but I see he's very active in the Italian community, and he's always a bit dejected. He's very hard on himself when he cannot, match the lap times of the greats of this car, like Alatalo, for example, and the other, very quick drivers. So I think that a nice result in this race could do wonders for his confidence. He has been very, very consistent, so far. So maybe if he, with a little help from the drivers in front, he might even sneak into the top 5. And remember what we always see in this second race of the day in this championship: the very high attrition rate, especially towards the end of the race, when the tires start to go down, especially since this race is longer than the official races that iRacing has, planned for his scheduled for their official series. So you need that extra element of tire saving towards the end of the 40 minutes here. There are tracks which are worse. For example, we had big problems at Road America, and tracks with that is less noticeable. So we'll see how it works here in Zandvoort, as we might have a battle for P4 and 5, because the gap between these two guys, Bird and Knoll, is more or less around 1 second. At the front, 1.2 between the Van Loosenord and Sportster, and Karestan is sitting nicely in second. A long ways back, but very happy with his consistency. I think he will get back to P3 the championship after this round.
Yeah, I think that's almost certain. And yeah, kind of just a little bit by himself. Although, yeah, it's still 1.5 seconds behind. But on that last lap was 8 tenths slower than the Italian. As we've got another
What is
car
Wilson?
around, Jamie Wilson. We had to see him making a mistake like that. And the Team Chimera driver gets back on his way. A little bit of a low-key day for him so far. Managed to finish 5th in race 1, but we barely saw him on camera. So it feels like it's a bit of an injustice for this to be the first time we've seen him. And,
No, I think we saw him already in the first corner when he went off in this accident here. Second corner, or maybe third corner. So there was contact there.
Who was that?
Who was that?
or who made the contact.
Maybe
McNally, who was the spinner.
it was a car with a dark rear end. Maybe Spolstra?
Could have been.
Let's get a replay of that from his point of view of the start. You see the massive dive bomb.
Yeah, and he nearly misjudged this one. Oh, wow. I had no choice, really. Did well, actually, to get stopped and not understeer massively. And then just tried to find his way through this part. Oh, yeah, what? Oh, yeah, it was just Spolstra making contact. And of course, we were talking earlier on how Van Loosenhoek could maybe get a penalty. Oh, Spolstra. I wonder if he's under investigation for that one.
I know, 20 minutes after I think they are in the clear. That was a very, very light contact. You know, with these cars, the smallest amount of contact can result in a spin. And so I think that was the sensible decision by the stewards, even though it resulted in a big pileup in the first corner, which is something that you never want to have, especially at the beginning of a long race. As of course Gafenko is in the pits and he will presumably stay there since he had a nice big crash, car upside down. So even though he's towing back, I don't think he will have time to go back on track. Similar lap times for Van Loosenhoek and Spolstra. Kalesan is in fourth, and here is Ashley Beard. He's been able to distance himself from Thomas Knoll in fifth place. Then is Roccatello having a nice race, and Anthony Mott, Dave Cadmore, who went by Jamie Wilson a few laps ago. And running up the field is in P10 the unmistakable orange car of Max Berta, who is displaying as well the colors of the Netherlands, even though it is his regular livery, it is Italian. But still, a very, very nice. Well, he's displaying the colors of the Fanta soda drink, but we'll pretend it's also for the Netherlands.
I don't know if he's got some kind of connection to Fanta, or maybe he just likes Fanta. Don't know. Hopefully we'll get an interview with Massimo at some point across the season. And of course, any drivers watching this back, because do you feel them have an interview with us at the end of the race too?
Absolutely, and I say this to all the drivers, especially as we see, I think, Van Loosenhoek going by Berta, all the drivers that don't feel confident with their English, especially the Italian guys, but also I understand and speak a bit of Spanish as well. So if you want to come in and have an interview, I can work as your translator, so you have a nice time with the.
Wow.
I think he had a problem lapping Berta because he went off the track. At least that's what the event viewer says, or maybe he just was too eager. Let's see. Oh, was a bit too eager there. And then was... Oh,
good save.
Wow.
Well, he's just lost a little bit more time as well, just getting past Berta. He lost about another second, so he's now 4 seconds behind the race leader.
So, and this applies to every series that we broadcast. Even if you don't feel confident with your English, hop in. We can help you, and of course it's always nice to have we love the drivers that always come for interviews. We are absolutely honored to have them in the booth after the race, but we also want to hear from some other drivers that never come here, and we want to hear their opinions and have a nice chat with them. So feel free to come in here, and I can vouch for the Italian guys that I can be a translator, and a bit for the Spanish guys, other languages. I don't know, Sam,
Japanese?
do you? Oh,
that'd be a good test.
It's spoken very slowly and with very simple sentences. Maybe.
Of course, we've got the Dutch team leading the Dutch Grand Prix with 2 Dutch drivers. I think this calls for an interesting Dutch fact. And
Absolutely.
its next one, well, which one are we going for? It's a surprising one. The Netherlands is the largest. The Netherlands is the largest beer exporter in the world, which is quite incredible for a relatively small nation. Apparently, it supplied in 2001 1.3 billion liters of beer abroad, half of which was shipped to the US. So that's quite a good fact. And also, 86% of Dutch people speak English as a second language. 86%. You compare that to, my proud nation of the United Kingdom, probably maybe 10%, I'd say, can speak one foreign language. It's absolutely horrendous, our arrogance. Of course, I contribute to that because I cannot speak a foreign language, despite being taught it for several years. But yeah, 86%, wow.
Yeah, they are one of the top countries in that regard. I think together with all the countries in that area, more or less, have very very good, ways of teaching, and they understand the importance of learning another language, which is something that I cannot say for my country as well. I mean, in the UK, it's nice to know another language, but it's not really that important. I'd say that you are already lucky to speak the most commonly spoken language in the world, so this is good. But it'd be nice. To learn another language is always something that really helps you, because you can, of course, um, you know, learn some stuff and read stuff in other languages and maybe discover something. Now, I'm hearing in the driver's chat that Byron Daly is saying sorry to Martin van Loosenord. So I guess they had a contact somewhere, those two guys.
Well, I was watching back the opening lap with Daly, and unless it was turn one, maybe, because I was watching back his first lap and he didn't have any issues after the spin that we saw. So I didn't know if he was maybe the Joe who ran wide at turn one, which maybe caused a bit too much damage.
Trying to see when he jumped to the pits, because he looks like he was still on track after 10 minutes of the race, and then all of a sudden he disappears. I don't get the message that he towed to the pit, so that was a weird one, for sure. As Sports Track goes by Jamie Wilson here. So we have, well, of course, Van Loosenor went past him beforehand. As now Van Loosenor makes quick work of Cadmore, so we have 7 cars on the lead lap, 10 minutes left in the race. I was looking at some other useless facts because I remember reading that the Netherlands are one of the biggest consumers of pasta, believe it or not.
Yes.
Even if they are, even if they are, or maybe not. Largest consumers per year: Italy, of course, Tunisia, Venezuela, and Greece. The top.
Venezuela?
Yeah.
Wow, that's...
I think, due to a large number of Italian... I'm surprised that Argentina is not in there, considering that, 70% of the Argentinian population has got Italian origin, more or less. So,
of course, the most famous Venezuelan F1 driver was named something similar to pasta.
Exactly.
So maybe I'm playing that out as the reason why, somehow. Anyway, also the Dutch love coffee as well. After Scandinavians, the Dutch are the world's biggest coffee drinkers, which is insane. They drink 3.2 cups per day. To me, that as a non-coffee drinker, that is quite incredible. 3.2 cups. I kind of understand the Scandinavians, and I guess they need the energy because in a relatively cold part of the world. But 3.2 cups per day. That's incredible. I would have thought it'd be the Italians who drank the most coffee.
Yeah,
Although I
but
guess that's very concentrated, isn't it?
exactly.
It's small quantities, yeah.
The magic of coffee and the art of making coffee is that less is more, as Samuli likes to say to me many times when talking about my on-screen graphics. Because if you remember, when I started doing broadcast, I had like all sorts of graphics on the screen. Less is more, and he's absolutely right. Yes, very very little coffee. Like we drink it in very very small glasses, and usually they are full to 1/3 of their capacity. So I put it to half, and people think I'm like some sort of an heretic because it's too much. So yeah, I have to know. Maybe we'll ask to Martin or Boris if they come to the commentary booth after the race. What is the normal their glass of coffee, how big it is, because then we can understand, because it's like a Starbucks dimensions, then it's more water than coffee, even though yeah, it's nice. Thomas Knoll, very quick, and goes by Ashley Beard, who heads for the pits.
Seemed to be a bit of a slow lap there for Beard. Yes, he had a very slow Sector 4. So Beard lost 5 seconds in Sector 4. He lost 1 and a bit seconds in Sector 5. So I think he's had an issue on that in-lap. So, well, stopped for very short amounts of time. 1 second, that wasn't a penalty or anything. And back out on circuit. So, what was that about, Marco?
Try to get a replay of Ashley Beard. See what happened. Looking good here. Maybe I think we need to go a little bit forward, because this is still the previous lap. And we go back live because we have a battle on track. Jamie Wilson and David Cudmore.
Yep, Wilson cruising up to the back of Cudmore after a disappointing start for Wilson, getting caught up in a crash. And, well, he's going to be past David Cudmore, I think, basically. He's then got half a minute to catch up to Ashley Beard, so I don't think that's going to happen, well, unless there's incidents up ahead. Wilson will probably take his time with this one. He was 9/10 faster on the last lap, so he has a significant pace advantage. 6 minutes to go in this race. Wow, it's really flown by this, I must say. 40-minute races often kind of drag on a little bit, but no, this one is really flown by, despite the first 10 minutes containing the majority of the action. And even Wilson, the second lap faster, he's struggling to really stay close to that middle part of the lap. Well, of course, he will be able to line himself up for the turn 1. Of course, they're flat out through the final corner round here, which really does help them. It just means that you've got like an extra 200 meters of slipstreaming available. And of course, you don't get too affected by the turbulent air either. But once again, Wilson struggling, maybe with a little bit, maybe lacking a bit of straight line speed out there. And Cudmore
Anthony
holding
Mott
off nicely.
has a problem.
Oh, and
Ashley
now
Beard has a problem.
Well, if they want screensavers of things going wrong for Excite, well, they've got a couple. Of course, their incident earlier on, and now synchronized spinning right there. It's not going to affect them too much. Beard, oh, well, he was definitely cut off, wasn't he? No doubt he would have had one eye on his teammate, and heated up the rear tyres, and round he went.
What happened here?
Wow, Spolstra is in the lead. Martin van Loosenod, 8 out of 9 races so far this season. Only Nürburgring race 2 did he not win, down to a couple of mistakes. And, well, they're all spinning at that corner. I don't know if there's been some oil dropped down there. It very much seems like it. And Spolstra, well, he was about 6 seconds behind. But what he would care about was that he was not 6.7 seconds behind. He goes now 0.7 seconds ahead of his teammate. And surely his first race victory of the season is coming his way.
Wow, sorry about missing that, but absolutely caught us out of the blue, this mistake by Spolstra. This mistake by Van Loosener, sorry. And now we'll see if Van Loosener says, okay, I'm happy with P2, and maybe, you know, my teammate will get the win, so it's okay. Or if he wants to push and get another race victory. Let's see if also he's able to close down his teammate, because, you know, we talked about the fact that, of course, with the dirty air, especially in the middle part of the track, it's not very easy to follow. I hope they fight it out, because we could have a fantastic battle for the race win with only 4 minutes left on the clock. 3 minutes.
Of course, he was able to pull off the move at Suzuki. He was able to pull off the move earlier on in this race, but of course that was kind of through the traffic where Spolstra managed to lose that position. Just think Spolstra nearly crashed earlier on, didn't he? He was within centimeters of the wall.
He also
and
spun.
managed to hold on to it and spun, yeah. So it's been an action-packed race for the pair of these guys. Van Loosener nearly crashed a couple of times himself and has made contact with a couple of cars. As they will get past this back marker, Ashley Beard, nearly the entire field. Well, I say the entire field. All but 4 drivers are lapped. Will they catch up to Motts? Yes, I think they will do, actually. They won't catch up to Boccatello, though. It's a short circuit, this, and these guys are very, very quick, so they'll catch up to Mott. That should be it for the lapping drivers. Spolstra holding on nicely at the moment. He's just extended that lap on this, extended that lead so far on this lap.
We have Byron Daly telling us that in that contact in the hairpin at the first lap, he got suspension damage. So it was a slight tap, but it was probably, you know, enough to give him suspension damage. And finally, I think I got one prediction right, because it seems like Roccatello will finish in the top 5 after all. After driving a very nice conservative race, not risking a lot. He seems to be good in this position. Back to the front with these 2 guys. I think they'll have a... Let's see, I think they will have 2 more laps after this one, since they're lapping in the 118s. And they cross the start-finish line now, so they'll have, yes, this lap and another one. Unless they decide to slow down and finish in a parade, which I don't think they will do. So let's keep our cameras on them.
Yeah, I think so. Of course, we were riding on board earlier on with Spolstra trying to catch up to his teammate, and he didn't really seem to be putting a foot wrong. It was very odd to see him pretty much playing in perfect corner after perfect corner, and yet somehow losing time. Now I think it's probably the other way around, because Spolstra is extending that lead. He just set a purple sector 2, still only 1/10 faster than his teammate, but every little helps him right now. And after, well, 9 races of agonizing kind of loss to his teammate, it looks as though today he is going to be able to convert this one, but it's not over and done with yet. Still got 1 more lap to go. Mott is a few seconds up the road. About 5 seconds up the road. I think they won't be able to catch him in time. Mott will get 2 more laps. Here we go, Spolstra. Final lap. Race lead, 6.5 tenths of a second. Has Van Loosener got anything more to offer? Surely it's just a case of Spolstra not making a mistake from now to the checkered flag.
Exactly, I think it is like that. And this will be, let me tell you, a very, very deserved victory for Spolstra. Not necessarily in the context of this race, but maybe gives him a little bit of a, you know, luck back after the very unlucky moment in race 2 at Road America. And for Van Loosener, of course, it's not the end of the world. Of course, you never want to throw away a race victory in the final few laps of the race when you were safely in the lead. But your teammate gets the win, and you finish in second still, so you still have a good championship lead, especially for race 1 victory that he had. So I think they had a 1-2 in the first race, reverse positions for race 2, so the gap remains the same with 1 race less, so I think everybody is happy. Final corner.
Yep, here comes Boris Spolstra. He is going to win here at Zandvoort, his first race win of the season. Boris Spolstra takes the checker flag in race 2, and boy, is that long overdue. He finally gets a race victory this season on attempt number 10. Matteo Calistani is going to finish in 3rd place. These are just back markers he's having to deal with currently. There's no pressure from him whatsoever. 15 seconds back to Thomas Knoll. Jamie Wilson will beat David Cudmore to 8th place. A decent recovery drive there from Jamie, and actually gets a decent points haul, a 5th and an 8th today. Beard has already finished. And Thomas Knoll, what about him? Started on pole position, of course, held on to the lead for some 10 minutes. What a valiant effort that was from him. In the end, it wasn't supposed to be. Of course, doesn't have the pace of the leaders, but he is going to round the final corner here to take a fantastic 4th place. Well done to him.
Absolutely. See, many times the drivers start in pole with in the reverse, maybe try to do too much and then crash out. He didn't. He was very dejected after race 1, but he was able to get it back together and finish with a nice P4. And Roccatello, P5, very very happy for him.
Yeah, and on the lead lap as well. Not a bad effort whatsoever. Ashley Motts will finish in 6th place. And of course, these drivers, as they are obliged to do, completing the in-lap. And, well, this will be very sweet music to the ears of Boris Spolstra, because he wins this race at Zandvoort Race 2 of the afternoon. Martin van Loosenhout in 2nd place. Matteo Calistani rounds out the podium once again. Really good points haul for him today with 2 podiums. Thomas Knoll, well done to him, as we've already said, in 4th. Alessandro Roccatelli, by far his best result of the season, in 5th. Ashley Mott was 6th. Ashley Beard was one lap down in 7th, so too was Jamie Wilson, David Cudmore, and Massimo Berta. And then the retirees were Richard Gabenki, Byron Daly, and Adam McNally. Where are we heading next week? I think you said earlier on.
Yes, we are heading to Donington Park.
Donington Park. Well, that will be fantastic. I assume that's the full layout and a unique circuit, of course. But I'm glad that we're visiting these kind of club circuits, these old school circuits, because you know, whilst the Spas and the Monzas and the Nürburgrings are nice, I think these are the tracks which probably mostly used to utilize this car's characteristics.
I absolutely agree. The organizers had a very, very sensible decision to try to stick as much as possible to the official iRacing series calendar, but to make some changes here and there. And I think that in the end we have a very, very well balanced calendar. We visit every kind of track apart from the street course, which hopefully will come soon, maybe the next season at Detroit, Belle Isle. And I think, these drivers have shown today as well that they can put on a show even in a twisty track like this. So there is absolutely no reason, I think, Sam, to come back at this race too. Had maybe a middle part of, was a little bit dull, but the beginning and the end were very, very exciting. We had a surprise in the last few laps with the error from Van Loosenhout. And we have a new race winner. He never won a race this season. Finally, William Sporstra gets the win. And I think we can all be happy and can't wait for the next round in the UK.
Yes, that should be absolutely fantastic. Of course, back next week. That'll be the pretty much the halfway point of the season, round 6 of the championship. Doesn't seem like we're going to get any interviews this afternoon, so I think we'll probably be able to wrap up the action here. Of course, tomorrow, very excited. The World GT starts season 4 of the of that championship.
Season 6, maybe.
Season 6, is it?
I think so.
I'm meant to be commentating on it, and sorry, just a slight interruption. We have
whilst I check that, we have the interview, and Sam will I have the pleasure to be joined by the race one winner, Martin van Loosenhout, I think.
Yes, and great to have you with us, Martin. Really well done out there, a first and a second. And well, we'll first go on to the spin, of course, because that was probably the low point of your afternoon. Was it just a small lack of concentration, or what? What was the reason for that slight mistake?
Hello, first of all. Yeah, the spin was yeah, I was just pushing. It's just hot lapping, so I didn't know what happened to Boris, so I thought I'll just hot lap and try and increase the gap, and that worked for a while until I spun.
Well, yeah, in the end, you were pulling away quite handily, but in the end, yeah, just with that small mistake cost you the race two victory. But race one, you must have been really pleased with. What was the turbulent air like? Because we saw both you and Boris struggling to get within kind of half a second of one another. Was the turbulent air really restricting your opportunity to overtake?
Yeah, you know when you're driving the same setup and when you're both just as good, then it's probably all about how you do it in the race. And if you go into the last corner within 4/10, you want to be within 4/10, otherwise you cannot make the overtake in the end of the straight. So yeah, and the dirty air starts kicking in from 4/10 and within there. So yeah, it's really tough to yeah, to get close. It's true.
Yeah, and in those early stages in race two, it was super chaotic amongst you guys. You had a five-car chain, I think, for the race. When were there ever moments where you thought, that you'd lost it because we had three wides, we had contacts, we had all sorts, and of course, man, this circuit with barely any runoff area was yeah, very close.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Apologies to Castellani for just a little tab, but yeah, I I gave him a tab and then I let him pass again because otherwise I thought they will give me a black flag. So I let him pass on the straight again, and so I could do another move, try and get another move on him. And I was trying a few times, and then on the front straight, I tried it again in turn one, and it was three wide. Yeah, in my opinion, I gave him enough space, but it's pretty tough to go three wide through that corner without making contact. So yeah, unfortunately, there was a bit of contact, but
Yeah, but it was certainly how we saw it. It was certainly a racing incident from our perspective. Next up, we head to Donington. One that you enjoy?
yeah, it's quite a nice track with a few corners that you cannot see what's behind it. So yeah, that's basically every time you go in there, it's just a sort of gamble, and it's yeah, it's muscle memory really. So yeah, you just need to make laps. I like the track a lot, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. We are certainly as well. And before we let you go, Martin, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to everyone who is helping me. Shout out to Duke Designs for helping us with the official livery.
Beautiful
Shout
this
out to
week, by the way,
Boris.
yeah?
You
I
like
mean,
the orange, right?
I like the first, yeah. I like the first one, I like the second one, the black and white one, and this one is fantastic. I mean, I
Well, that's
like the
good to
fact that
hear.
you
Thank
keep
you.
Keep having new liveries basically every round. I really like that. I'm a big fan of NASCAR, so I like the changing liveries every race. It's absolutely great.
Okay, well, that's nice to hear, but I think I have to disappoint you from now on. So this livery will be the probably the
Too bad.
last one we make.
I wanted to suggest a little bit of magenta or purple on the car, but yeah, then I'll keep it to myself then.
That's what I do. Yeah, thanks to Boris. So yeah, that's basically it. And thanks to you guys for all another round of broadcasting.
Thanks, Martin. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, let's go. See ya.
Well, I think that definitely does round us off for. Oh, What season is it, Marco?
Season 5 is the next. At
Oh, well,
least,
we're both wrong.
yeah, at least according to the organizers on our Discord. So.
Okay, season 5. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. We were both wrong. Yeah, so season 5, very excited about that. Of course, the first season in the GTEs, that will be me and, of course, Adam Bath.
And
Bringing you the action there.
yes, I mean, basically, we started already last week, but starting from this week, we are going to have basically every week on Mondays and on Thursdays. We're going to have double headers on Apex Racing TV. The Mondays, we'll have World GT and the MX5 Amateur Cup. And on Thursdays, we're going to have the Radicals, of course, the BSR Radicals, and the Sim Racers World GT Championship. They had the first round last Thursday. So basically, we make up for not having a broadcast on Fridays by having two on Monday, two on Thursday. So, and they are very different series, all four of them. So you can just pick which one you prefer, or maybe watch both of them at the same time, which is even
Wow,
better,
I've
I
never
think.
tried that. What one eye for each broadcast, maybe?
One monitor for each broadcast.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, we've also got Thomas Knoll, who has just joined us.
Okay.
Well, this is, we did say a while ago that we'd go, but no, we're going to be kind to Thomas. And Thomas, great to have a chat with you. Really well done that race too. You held on to the lead for a while, but me and Marco really spotted how when you realised that the faster cars were about to come past, you let them go, and in the end, you didn't get involved in a crash, and you got 4th place. So really well done.
Yes, hello. I'm very glad to be here the first time. My first interview overall. I have to take some minutes to set up my microphone for the interview. Yeah, I'm very happy with the 4th place. For some for the first laps, but for sure I knew that the learn to race guys and as well Matteo Calistani, I'm not able to let them behind me, so I tried to be consistent the whole race and to let them by, get in concentrate and then finish the race. And some guys had problems, so it's the first place, 4th place.
Yeah, we saw plenty of kind of mistakes out there today. What was the main challenge for you about this circuit? Where were you kind of maybe making some minor errors?
Yeah, I had a really scary moment at the main straight. I don't know the lap exactly, but after that I have also to be consistent and to concentrate. And yeah, I'm not the fastest guy here around, but to be consistent, I think it's the key to finish on the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really good result in the end. And next week we head to Donington Park. Yeah, one that you enjoyed?
Yes, definitely. And I try to be here for all races, and let's see how it goes next week.
Yeah, we certainly look forward to that one. Before we let you go, Thomas, any thanks you'd like to give?
Thanks to my wife, because she is very patient and give me all the Sundays free for the races. And yeah, the organization and to the broadcast guys, you as well. And yeah, thanks to all.
Thanks, Thomas. We'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Well, I think that will finally wrap us up. So yeah, of course, like we said, tomorrow we've got the Masters and the World GT. Then, of course, Tuesday we've got the MX5s. Wednesday we will have the Le Mans series. I was very wrong last week. I thought that was our last time broadcasting that. Turns out we've still got 2 more weeks of that. So we will be back for that. And of course, like Marco said, on Thursday, got the BSR Radical and the Sim Racers World. Saturday we have got 3, and then Sunday will of course be round 6 of the championship. So for me and from Marco as well, we will say goodbye, and we will see you next time.